Alright, Chapter 4, Common Core Practice. This packet is designed to do all the Common Core-like problems. I don't think I put answers in the back. I don't. Whoa, 21 pages. Have I lost my mind? Probably. Let's get started. Identify the slope and the y-intercept of y equals 1/3 x minus 5. Remember, y equals mx plus b is what gives us our slope. And our y-intercept. That's called slope-intercept form, ladies and gents. So if it's y equals mx plus b, when y is all by itself, the number in front of x is the slope, and the b that's floating around is my y-intercept. So since y is all by itself, 1/3 is my slope, so not you, not you, not you, not you. And positive, negative, or plus -5, or just regular old -5, is my y-intercept. Easy, page 1. Page 2, identify the slope and the y-intercept of that guy right there. Two ways to do it. It gives you the equation. So just like in the last problem, when y is all by itself, the number in front of x is the slope, and the number floating around is the y-intercept, which means my slope is 2, my m is 2, and my y-intercept is 3. So, I don't know, it kind of gave you a bit too much here. But I guess another way that you could do it is you can calculate the slope by doing rise over run, or you could see the y-intercept right there. So many options, so much fun. What is y plus 2x? Let me rewrite it out. Y plus 2x equals -3.5 in slope-intercept form. So what I have to do is I have to get y all by itself. All right. Y is not all by itself on the left because positive 2x is in the way, so the way we get rid of that is we subtract 2x, bada bing, bada bang. Y is now all by itself. The way I need to write this out in an order that makes sense to me is I have to put the -2x part first because my slope and its coefficient go first, and -3.5, whatever comes after it, is my y-intercept. So that would make the answer E. Right? I don't like you at all. Waste of resource. Lizzie Lizard bought a surfboard for $45. Hey! And paid $25 per lesson to learn how to surf. Very realistic. Write a linear equation. So looks like they want you to do y's and x's. So if you paid $450 straight up, no attachments, and $25 per lesson, looks like they want you to use x, that's going to equal your y. So that's not necessarily in slope-intercept form. So if I want to put it in slope-intercept form, I would put that 25x first, and then 450, which looks like D. So there you have it. Good job, Lizzie. Way to get out there and be yourself. From lizards to pigs, and then Mr. B, he put $22,500 into his savings account at the beginning of the year. He then adds $150 each month. So $2,500 adds $150 each month. It looks like they're using X, so each month is the attachment. Set that equal to Y. Before we go too far, let me reorganize that so that it's in slope-intercept form. So let's put the 150x first and the 2,500. Again, if you're wondering why I attached an x to 150, it's because of the phrase 150 each month. There's an attachment. $2,500 means nothing. You just add that, you just keep that number there at the very beginning, do nothing with it, and if you add no money to it, then it's just there. So, let's see what we got. I see that one. So B seems to be the answer. Identify the slope and the y-intercept. 2 pages ago, I said that you can only find the slope and the y-intercept if y is all by itself. Well, y is not all by itself, so let me rewrite the equation. It's a big mess to find out what y is. So let's just do it. Y is not all by itself because 6 is multiplied to y. 24x is also floating around. The first thing you have to do is subtract 24x from both sides. Looks like that. 6y drops down. I'm going to write these out in a way that's convenient for me, and that's putting the negative 24x first minus 18. If you're wondering why they don't combine, it's because that one has an x attached and that one doesn't, which means they're not like terms. Is y all by itself now? Nope. Divide everything by 6. Everything by 6. Negative 24 divided by positive 6 is negative 4. X is attached. Negative 18 divided by 6 is negative 3. Nothing's attached. Y is all by itself, which means the number in front of x is my slope. The number floating around all by itself is my y-intercept. It looks like in the answers up here they wanted m and b, so m is slope, b is y-intercept. So m is negative 4, b is negative 3. Lots of e's and b's in this packet. Oh boy. BB. Guns. No, actually, forget you heard that. All right, write the equation of the given line. Looks like we have ourselves a positive slope. Remember, if you're doing equations, it's y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So let's find the slope. Slope is positive. It's up 1, 2 over 1. So that would make the slope 2 over 1, or just 2. The y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis, which is double 0, so the y-intercept is 0, giving us the equation y equals 2x plus 0, or y equals 2x. So y equals 2x is going to be that guy right there. I don't know why they had to put the plus 0 there, but they did. All right. Find the slope of a line that passes through the given points. This is going to require the slope formula. Okay, whenever it gives you 2 points and asks you to find the slope, you need the slope formula. The slope formula is m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. You go to your points, you label them x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, and you just throw them in. M equals 2 in parentheses minus y sub 1 is negative 6. I did that fast. Y sub 2 is 2. So I'm rewriting this equation out, replacing these guys with the numbers that I chose. So y sub 2 became 2. Minus is minus. Y sub 1 is negative 6, so minus negative 6. And whenever I replace a letter with a number, I use parentheses because it's proper. X sub 2 is 4. X sub 1 is 5. And if you have a calculator, that might be handy, but 2 minus negative 6 is the same thing as 2 plus positive 6. Double negatives make a positive, just like grammar. That becomes 8. 4 minus 5 is negative 1, and 8 divided by negative 1 is negative 8. B. Page 6. Identify the slope. Remember, y equals mx plus b is your slope-intercept form. Whenever y is all by itself, the number in front of x is your slope. So let's see what we've got over here. Oh, look, y is all by itself. So the number in front of x is 2, and that's my slope. See how fun that is? See how easy that is when everything is set up properly? And just like this one's not so bad either. Write an equation, which means y equals mx plus b. And I feel like I've said this once or twice in the last minute or two. M is the slope. B is the y-intercept. Slope in this case is going to be positive because it goes up and to the right. Let's do rise over run. So I'm going to pick 2 points that make sense, and those are the points that seem to work for me. Oh, be very, very, very careful, boys and girls, because this doesn't go up 1 over 2. This goes up 7. See how over on the left side here it goes up by 7s? So if you were to go up a bunch, you're not going up 1, 2, 3, you're going up 7, 14, 21, so on and so forth. So in this case, my slope is going to be positive 7 over 1, 2.
Now, if you're like, well, why didn't you go over 14? If you went up 7, why didn't you go over 7, 14? Well, because the y little labels over here go up by 7s, but the x's go over by 1s. So you go up $7 over 2 pounds. So that's $7 for every 2 pounds of papaya. Goodness gracious. Let's find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the point on the line or the point on the graph where my line crosses the y-axis, and it crosses right there at 00. Again, just like the one a couple problems ago. So b is going to be 0. Putting it all together, y equals m is 7 over 2, x plus nothing. So I'm not going to put anything, and that gives me a. If the slope of a line is a half, what would that indicate for the rise over run? All right, well, it looks like they want us to do direction. So remember, rise over run is rise over run. So if it's 1 over 2 and it's rise over run, positive slope is up and to the right. So in this case, it's up 1, right 2, which is that guy. Technically, it could also be down 1, left 2, but I don't see that option. That's it. That's it for page 6. Page 7. Which ordered pair is a solution for the linear equation? There's a way that you could do this in your calculator by typing that in to the y equals button. You hit the y equals button, which is right there. And then you type that guy in, hit second graph, and it gives you a list of points. But who needs that? Let me take a wild stab in the dark here and guess A. Let's see if A works. I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to rewrite it here. Just rewriting it, no big deal. If I'm going to test out to see if A works, I'm going to call that the x value because it is an x, and I'm going to call that the y value because, well, it's a y. And I'm going to plug it in and see if it works. So instead of y, I'm going to write out 6. And instead of x, I'm going to write out 2. Minus 1. 6 equals 5 times 2 is 10. 10 minus 1, 6 equals 9. Well, that's not true at all, which means A is not an option. So let's try something different. I'm trying to cheat. Let's try C. Maybe C will work. I don't know. That would be an x value. That would be a y value. So if I'm using that equation again, I'm going to replace y with -1, and I'm going to replace x with 0. Remember, I'm taking my point, which is an xy, and I'm plugging it into the equation, which has x's and y's, and I'm just plugging it in and seeing which one works, which one's the solution. So -1 is going to equal 5 times 0 is 0 minus 1, and 0 minus 1 is -1. Hey, it worked, which means C is my answer. And again, if I really wanted to be fast and if I had the resources, I could type in the equation to my calculator, 5x minus 1, hit second graph, and that takes me to a table where 0, -1 is the first guy that pops up. So, 2 different ways of doing the same problem. Slope is next. Find the slope of the line. Positive slope. Let's put a dot here and a dot there because those are places that seem to make sense. My rise is 1, 2, 3, 4. My run is 1. So rise is 4. My run is 1. Answer is 4 over 1. Cool. Page 7 complete.
Page 8, write an equation for line C in slope-intercept form. Line C, where are you? There you are. All right, so we got ourselves y equals mx plus b. It's an equation of a line. M is the slope. B is the y-intercept. My slope is negative, so negative something. Where can I put dots? There's a dot. And this line just seems off. But I guess I could put a dot here. That must be it. All right. My slope is up 1, 2 over 1, which means my slope is -2 over 1, or just -2. My y-intercept lives right there, which is down 1, 2, 3, 4. So my y-intercept is -4. So putting it all together, y equals -2x plus -4, or just -4. The answer is B. Cool. Hot. Right write an equation for the line in slope-intercept form. Lots of writing equation stuff. Oh boy. Well, I guess I'll write out what I've been writing out. Y equals mx plus b. Slope is m. B is the y-intercept. Let me see. My slope is negative up 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My y-intercept lives right there. So at 3, I'm putting it all together. We have negative 4 over 5, x, positive 3, a, or as the Fonz would say, a. Write the equation of the line with the given slope that passes through the given point. All right, so my slope is negative 3. In a perfect world, I'd have a whole lot of graph, but I really don't have a whole lot of graph to deal with. So this is what I'm going to do. Let's play the estimation game. My slope is negative 3, which means my line would go up, well, not negative 3, but negative 3 over 1, which means I go up 3, left 1, up 1, 2, 3, left 1, up 1, 2, 3, left 1. I'm not going to have a whole lot of room there. I can go down 1, 2, 3, right 1. So if I'm writing an equation, I have y equals mx plus b, where if you may remember from here, m is my slope. So my slope is negative 3, y equals negative 3x. But I don't know what my y-intercept. So let's look at some options. My y-intercept is going to be way the heck up here where I can't see it. So, I don't know. Is it going to be like negative 3? No. Is it going to be 0? No. Is it going to be 3? No, because otherwise it'd go through there and it doesn't. So it's got to be 7. B is my answer. Interesting. Process of elimination, or as SpongeBob would say, elimination. Page 10. Page 10. Looks like I start off using the same exact directions from the last page where we write an equation of the line using the slope and a point. So I'm going to have to think outside the box for this one. I don't have a graph, so I'm not going to graph it. So here we go. Y equals mx plus b is the equation of a line where m is my slope. So what do I know? I know that 4 over 5 is my slope. So y equals 4 over 5x. But I don't know what my b is. So here's an idea. My idea is I have a point that I can call xy. If I plug 5 in for x and 9 in for y, that will give me b. And then I can take this guy, and once I have b, I can put it all together, and then I'm good as gold. So let me do that. If x is 5 and y is 9, I'm going to replace y with 9. That equals 4/5. X is 5 plus b. 9 is 9. 4/5 of 5 is 4. Subtract 4, subtract 4. B is going to equal 5. So if I take the fact that I know that y equals 4/5 x and b is 5, I have the equation y equals 4/5 x plus 5. So tricky. Not a big fan of these problems, but gotta do them. We gotta do them. So we have more of the same and then more of the same again. So what I did is I wrote out y equals mx plus b, where I know m is negative 1 over 7 x plus b. I don't know what b is, but what I do know is a point where 7 is an x and y is a negative 4. So I'm going to replace y with negative 4. I'm going to replace x with 7. I don't know why I did that. Negative 1, perfect, over 7. I'm going to replace x with regular 7 plus b. Negative 1 over 7 times 7 is negative 1. Okay. Add 1 to both sides. Negative 3 is going to be my b. So if I have y equals negative 1 over 7x plus b, and I know that b is negative 3, I could say y equals negative 1 over 7x minus 3. That guy. Shall we do it again? Yay. Tough page. Y equals mx plus b. Well, y equals negative 4x plus b. I don't know what b is, but I know you're an x value and I know you're a y value. So y is negative 2. X is negative 1. Negative 2 drops down. Negative 4 times negative 1 is regular 4. Subtract 4. Subtract 4. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. B is negative 6. So if b is negative 6, and if y equals negative 4x plus b, y equals negative 4x plus b is minus 6. Yuck. Let's hope that it gets better. It doesn't. So not only were these bad, at least they gave me the slope. This doesn't give me the slope. Now, if you have a calculator, this is Lin Reg. I know I used a calculator on a previous page, but I'm going to make believe that I don't have a calculator anymore, so I'm not going to use a calculator. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find the slope the way God intended it. Let me rewrite out those points so I have a bit more space. These are the points that I have to do. I care about y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. All right. Up here, when I had these problems, I was given the slope. Now I'm not given the slope, so I have to find the slope using the slope formula, which is m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. You label your points, x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. You plug them in. Y sub 2 is 7, so y sub 2 turned into 7, minus is minus, y sub 1 is 3, x sub 2 is 3, minus is minus, x sub 1 is negative 1, 7 minus 3 is 4, 3 double negative 1 is 3 plus 1, which is 4, my slope is 1. So what I have so far is I have y equals 1x, or just regular x plus b. Now I know what you're all thinking, you can get the answer now, but what fun is that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to any of the points that I had, and I'm going to pick the easiest one, which for me is 3, 7 for some reason, and I'm going to plug those in here. My x value is a 3, my y value is a 7, so I'm going to plug those in. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. That's going to give me b equals 4. So if y equals x plus b, but b also equals 4, then y equals x plus 4. B. 6 minutes and 15 seconds on that page. Blah. Blah. Page 11. Page 11 of 21. What is the constant of proportionality? Or in other words, what is the slope? Well, every 6 days, Mr. Baguette, I guess, receives 4 boxes of coffee. Let x equal days and y equals coffee. All right, so what am I doing? What is the constant of proportionality? What is the slope? So he wants... Oh, okay, I see what they're doing. It's weird. They want coffee over days. How do I know that? Well, change in y is going to be my y, and that's on top of a fraction. So coffee's on top. Days is going to be on the bottom because x is going to represent days. So I want coffee over days. Every 6 days, so I'm going to replace days with 6. Mr. Baguette receives 4 boxes of coffee, which is 4 over 6. Divide those both by 2. Divide those both by 2. And you get 2 over 3. That is a problem I can live without. Don't like it.
I don't like it.
If the table's completed, what is the value of y when x is 7? Well, it looks like that y is whatever x is times 2. So y equals 2 times x. Y equals 2 times x. You care about when x is 7. So y equals 2 times 7. 14. That wasn't so bad. Another way of doing it is just going 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Just figuring out the pattern, but simple. Very simple. Could have used LinReg too, but you know, didn't have to. The graph shows the cost of tomatoes at a farmer's market. Find the constant of proportionality. Constant of proportionality is the same thing as slope. It's just like the rate of change is the same thing as slope. So I take a dot, here's a dot. I take a dot, there's a dot. I go up by 1, so 1, 2, 3 is my rise. I go over by 1, so 3 over 1 is 3, or in this case, they like 3 over 1. Very basic, it's just worded weird. No big deal. What is the slope, aka the constant rate of change? A while back, we talked about the rise over run, which is our slope, is the same thing as the change in y over the change in x. So let's find out the change in y's. This would be my x value, that would be my y. So the change in y looks like I go up by 20, I go up by 40, I go up by 20, I go up by 20. This one I go up by 4, I go up by 8, I go up by 4, and I go up by 4. So we see kind of a pattern, and it seems like this guy went a little haywire. But if we're doing y over x, y could be a 20, which matches up with 4. Or you could do 40 over 8, or 20 over 4, or 20 over 4. Either way, whether it's 20 over 4 or 40 over 8, you're going to get 5. If you wanted to, you could do LinReg. And LinReg would get you the equation y equals 5x, which tells you that the slope is 5. Multiple ways of doing it, but that's just a couple of them. All right, so I started 15, and I immediately didn't like it, and here's why. Look at the way the height is. It's numbered normally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They want height over weight. These are the 2 dots that I picked, okay? So up 1, 2, 3, over 1, 12 goes to 13. You would think it's 3 over 1, but 3 over 1 is not an option. So I'm not sure what's going on with this here problem. That 10 should be there, which means 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, but this graph is just an ugly graph. So we're going to pretend this problem doesn't exist. Bye. Hello. Use the slope formula to find the slope of the lines that goes through points 7, -6, and 8, 3. Which of the following shows the correct substitution? So they're actually going to do it for us. X sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. I'm just going to write it out and see which one matches up. -6 minus y sub 1, which is, I screwed up already. Y sub 2 is my negative, irregular 3. Y sub 1 is -6 over x sub 2, which is 8, minus x sub 1, which is 7. 3 minus -6, nope. 3 minus -6, yep. 3 minus -6, yep. 8 minus 7, nope. 8 minus 7, yup, B. At the Mathville Amusement Park. Ugh. Roller coaster A drops like that. Roller coaster B drops like that. What is the slope of roller coaster A? All of my answers are negative, so I guess when they talk about dropping, they're talking about going down in the right. We only care about roller coaster A, so peace out, roller coaster B. If I drop 50, that means my rise is 50. And if I travel 70 feet horizontally, that means my run is 70. They want to make it negative. -50 over 70 are both divisible by 10. 50 and 70, you can divide those both by 10. So simplifying that fraction, ends up being negative 5 over 7, which is C. Okay? Okay. Almost done. What is the rate of change of the graph? Remember, rate of change is a fancy word for slope. So here's a dot, here's a dot. Normally, I think I would rise 1, but in this case, these guys go up by 10. So I'm going to go up 10, so my rise is 10, and I'm going to go over, it is 1, 10 over 1, which ends up being 10. So my rate of change is 10 over 1, or 10. Determine the unit rate or the slope. We're given two graphs, and it looks like these guys are the same exact thing. 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 6, 1, 6. They're the same exact thing. So if I want to find the slope, two ways to do it. Let's do rise over run. My rise is 12 to 18 is 6. My run is 1. 6 over 1 is 6. You could have done what we did on a chart a couple pages ago where we said this is plus 6 and this is plus 1 and 6 over 1 is 6. You know, Lin Reg would give you the equation y equals 6x, which means your slope is 6. So many different ways of doing so much fun stuff. But the answer is 6. Find the slope of the line. You could do Lin Reg, but I won't. I'm going to do the whole thing where it's the change in y over the change in x. Okay, so it looks like my x is going up 1, up 1, up 1. To get from negative 4 to negative 1, you add 3. To get from negative 1 to 2, you add 3. To get from 2 to 5, you add 3. So we have the same pattern. A y value over an x value is going to be 3 over 1, or in this case, just 3. You could have done Lin Reg. And if you did Lin Reg, you would have gotten the equation y equals 3x minus 1, which means 3 is your slope. Again, just like the last problem, so many ways of doing the same thing. Which graph represents the equation y equals 2x plus 1? All right, so we got ourselves an equation in this form where m is my slope and b is my y-intercept. So remember, if your equation has y all by itself, the number in front of x is the slope. 2 is my slope. It's a positive 2. And positive 2 is going to look like this, which means not u. Okay, so c is out of the question. Positive 1 is my y-intercept, which means it's going to go through 1. That goes through negative 2, so it's not u. It's got to be u. You have a positive slope that looks like it goes up 1, 2 over 1, and it goes through 1. So letter B, you are my champion. Oh, I like this picture. Tunnel digging. So this person's digging a tunnel. They started out with 0 months. And at 0 months, they started at 3,500 feet. And then over time, they dig a tunnel and blah, blah, blah. How much time does it take to complete the tunnel? In other words, how much time does it take to get from this number to 0? Well, that time is over here. 7 months. This is where you start, this is where you end, and this is everything in between. So, problem 20, write an equation of a line where the given slope and the y-intercept. This is super easy. You're given everything. Y equals mx plus b. When y is all by itself, the number in front of x is the slope. When y is all by itself, the number floating around is the y-intercept. It tells you the slope. I don't know why I wrote out m. It tells you the slope. Y equals m, negative 3, x. Y-intercept is negative 5, so plus negative 5 minus 5. That one. How nice. Word problems. A mechanic at a bicycle repair shop charges $25 per hour. The cost of the parts is $70. Write an equation that represents the total cost of fixing the bicycle after X hours of work. So the cost is going to be Y. Okay. He's going to charge you $25 per hour. So 25X. And you're going to have to pay $70 for the parts. So even if it... So that's my equation. And what this means is even if all you need is the part, you have to spend $70 on it. If he takes 2 hours, it's 2 times 25, which is 50 plus $70. So $130. $20, I mean. That's my equation. For bicycle, motocross, BMX racing, in case you never knew what BMX stood for, racers purchase a 1-year membership and pay an entry fee for each race on the track. One racer paid a total of $65 for 4 races. All right. Another racer paid a total of $90 for 9 races. All right, so you have 2 different situations going on. This is a really complicated problem. You have $65 for 4 races. So 4 races cost $65. 9 races cost $90. Okay. These are points. And although it doesn't look like points, these are points. Okay. So I need a slope. So in order for me to get my slope, I use the slope formula. X sub 1 is right there. Y sub 1 is right there. X sub 2 is right there. Y sub 2 is right there. M equals Y sub 2, which is 90, minus Y sub 1, which is 65, over X sub 2, which is 9, minus X sub 1, which is 4. 90 minus 65 is 25. 9 minus 4 is 5. My slope is 5. Okay, so what I have so far is y equals 5x plus b. I don't know b. So I need one of these points to plug in to get my b. So I'll take 9 and 90 because I like the numbers better. 90 is a y value. 9 is an x value. 5 times 9 is 45. Plus b. 90 equals 45 plus b minus 45 minus 45. B is 45. So putting it all together with this train wreck of a problem that you'll probably never see a problem like that ever again, y equals 5x plus 45. I don't like that one. I don't like it at all. But it's done. The graph relates temperature to altitude, thousands of feet. Find the slope and the y-intercept. All right, so this is going to be weird. Are you ready? This is regular degrees. This is thousands of feet. So be careful. Be careful. I don't like that dot that they chose. I like that dot because it's an actual dot. Or is it? I think it is. And that dot. I like that dot too. Yeah, let's go with it. My rise is 60, 40. So my rise is 20. My run is, are you ready for this one? 2,000, 4,000, 6,000. Why is it 1,000? Because it says so right there. 20 divided by 6,000 is 1 over 300. So my slope is 1 over 300. At least this part's going to be easy. What's the y-intercept? 68. My slope is actually negative. Shame on me. Shame on me. Shame on me everywhere. There you go. Problem solved. Write the equation of a line. Y equals negative 1 over 300 x plus 68. The temperature at sea level is when the altitude is 0. So if the altitude is at 0 feet, the temperature is going to be 68 degrees. And that's that. Whew. The video is going to be like 1 billion hours long. Well, I hope it was worth it for you because it was worth it for me. Bye.